Hi everyone. It's been such a long time since I last filmed. This is also weird to me. I don't even know what's going on. It's gonna take a while to get used to speaking to a camera again. I've been gone for such a long time and I haven't filmed in ages, but this isn't what it's about, so let's just get on with it. So I've come to you guys with a mini series about my A-level experience, specifically how I got into Cambridge. So this series is going to be split into 3 parts. I thought I'd do a 3-part series. So the first part is going to be about why Year 12 isn't useless, in my opinion. The second part will be about Oxbridge applications themselves. And the third part will be about Year 13 and how to kind of get the grades you need for your offers. So if you'd like, I could do videos in the future about how to get an A star in English literature, revision and organisation videos about personal statements if that would be helpful to you. So please do let me know down below what you'd like to see. So I thought I'd film this because I thought that it would be really useful for me to share my experience, because there are other people here on YouTube that have shared their experience that have helped me to get through this. So hopefully by sharing my experience it will help you, or maybe encourage you to just kind of go for what you want, basically. So I've spoken so much already, so I'll just get straight into the video. So my name is Chiazza. I went to a state school in West London called Lambton School from Year 7 to Year 13. So I've just finished my high school experience. I'll let you know my grades quickly. So for GCSE, I got 5 A stars, 2 A's, 4 B's and 1 C. I already filmed a GCSE experience video soon after I got my results, so I'll link that down below, and I won't get too much into GCSEs in this video, but they will be handy once I start speaking about why Year 12 isn't useless. My AS, I got 3 A's and a B, and for A-levels I ended up getting triple A star. So for me, Year 12 is more important than Year 13 even, because it's really important in terms of what you pick, how you perform even though the exams are linear, what you drop, and most importantly, what this video will be mainly about is very important in terms of what you do, especially if you want to apply to Oxbridge. I picked English literature, geography, history and photography. So I'm going to go a little bit into the reasonings for why I picked each subject, but I'll go further into detail in my Oxbridge application video. So I picked English literature because I've wanted to do it for ages. It's the subject I've always loved. For example, I'll just give you a quick story. I knew I 100% wanted to do English literature when at GCSE we studied To Kill a Mockingbird. So we learned that the mockingbirds were Tom Robinson, Boo Radley, etc, etc. So the GCSE question was about the way Harper Lee presents mockingbirds, I think. And I kind of had an epiphany in the exam. Mid-exam that Harper Lee plays with the reader's sympathy for Mayella. So we sympathise with her in a way that we don't sympathise with Boo and Tom Robinson. And yeah, so that's how I kind of realised that I really liked having opinions of my own, and you know, we learnt about To Kill a Mockingbird in a specific way, which was what GCSE was kind of about just kind of learning just to say this and that. But A-level really gave you the flexibility to have your own opinion and your own take on things, and to let your interpretation head in the direction that you wanted. So I really like that about English literature. I picked geography, as you guys may know from my GCSE video, because that is also a subject I've always loved. So I'll talk about geography and history together because I also picked them for GCSE together. So geography and history have just always been subjects I've been so fascinated in. At A-level, I know that when I say I study geography, people give me kind of that look, but at A-level geography was really about human geography and the way the world works and current affairs. So it was really interesting to me to be able to learn about something so current. History again has always been a subject I've always loved. If I wasn't doing English at university, I'd probably be doing history, because history kind of gave me the skills I needed in terms of essay writing to be strict with myself. So if you are thinking of maybe going into law, history would be such a great subject to have. I wanted to pick photography to have a balance between essay heavy subjects and a creative subject. So photography for me was something I could just be creative in. You can be creative in English, but in a way that you need to follow the mark scheme. But in photography, you really had creative license as an artist to do what you'd like. I was at the start of year 12, I did pick art because, as you may remember, I said in my GCSE video that I wanted to do art, but then I went for drama. So then I planned to do art at A-level, but I went for photography. I picked photography because it kind of gave me that break from just essay after essay and from exam after exam. So that's what I really enjoyed about photography, and obviously why I carried on with it. Otherwise the work would just be too much for me to handle. Don't get me wrong, photography is not easy because it was coursework heavy, so you'd have to do work constantly, and at times it would overshadow my other 3 subjects just because of the amount of hours you're putting in. I think overall I probably put in the most hours in my photography work. So that may be something for you guys to consider, that if you do have a creative subject, you might want to work that into your options. Also, in terms of what I picked, my English, history and photography A-level were all linear, so they were the new courses. And then my geography A-level was still modular, so my year was the last year where we still had exams and AS that counted for your A2 mark. So that goes into a bit of what I dropped as well, which I'll talk about soon. But you really have to be clear about what you pick. I know people are asking you to make such a big decision about your life at the age of 16, 17, but please do have a good idea about what you pick and try and think long term. So in year 12, my thinking was constantly long term. I was thinking to university. I've known I wanted to go to Cambridge since about year 8, so that's why I picked my GCSEs in the way I picked them and wanted to perform in the way I did. So then again in year 12 I was thinking, okay, long term, where do you want to be and what do you want to do? And that's what I had to think in order to pick the right subjects and make sure that they all link to English. So if you have completed your GCSEs and you are thinking of going to Oxbridge or top unis, remember that what you pick is so important. We're going to go on to how you perform. So this links to what you pick and your AS and A-level as a whole. So it's really important to just do your best. I know that the jump from GCSE to A-level can be tough. I know it didn't hit me until after my mock exams. Actually, I have to show you guys my grades after my first big mock. Those are my grades after my first big mock. So I know year 12 can be so overwhelming because it's nothing like GCSE, and to be honest, school doesn't prepare you for the jump. What I did was use those grades as motivation. Those grades kind of woke me up to the reality of A-level. I know that for some people they don't wake up until results day. So I really used those grades to push myself, but even in AS I didn't do enough work. That's why I say year 13 is easier than year 12. I remember being on Barclays work experience and I was speaking to some year 12s and I fully told them year 13 is easier because you know what you have to do and you know what it's like. But year 12, it's such unfamiliar territory that you kind of feel vulnerable. It's really scary. I ended up getting 3 A's and a B. Mind you, the A in English was a low A. I think it was even a scrape A. It wasn't a very good A, so I wasn't really pleased with that. That goes to show you that year 12 really is different, and for some people that doesn't register until it's too late. So the linear examinations can be a good thing in terms of if you don't perform as well as you would have expected, you do have another chance to perform well within your whole A-level. So I know someone that went from A, B, C, D in year 12 to A star, A star, A in year 13. So it does give you a chance to have a clean slate. But people use this with so much confidence because they still apply in that you need the predicted grades and you need the grades to apply to uni. How you perform does link to what you drop, which I'll go into when I do my video about year 13. I'm not even going to get into stories about my year 12 exams. I can do a different video on that. But how you perform, I think my revision, I did not use Easter holiday wisely. I revised maybe 5 weeks before my exams, which was too little time. I used Rihanna's work the day of my English exam. I hadn't revised my poetry properly, so I listened to Rihanna work and just went through the repetition and any other poetic devices that I could hear Rihanna singing. So that's how I revised for my AS poetry exam, which I do not advise you to do. So please revise earlier and ahead of time. I also made the mistake of looking at the wrong time in my geography exam, the wrong finishing time in my second geography exam. Let's just say I missed out a whole 10-mark question, which I wasn't too pleased about, but that's life. So please know your timings, know how long your exams are, etc, etc. So year 12 is really important in terms of what you do in terms of your personal statement. So you cannot cram it in all in the summer before you submit UCAS and do your personal statement. It has to be done throughout the year in year 12, specifically if you are applying to Oxbridge. So as I told you before, year 12, I was thinking long term. I knew where I wanted to be, I knew where I wanted to go. So I had to think long term, which is why I spent the course of year 12 doing things in order to aid my personal statement. At the beginning of year 12, a bunch of us that performed well at GCSE were put into an exceptional scholars program by my sixth form, which allowed us to have access to things that could aid our personal statement. And it was run by a teacher, one of my favorite teachers ever, the woman that I practically owe my getting into Cambridge to. It was run by her, and she herself went to Cambridge and studied geography. So she was the one running the Exceptional Scholars Program, and she was my geography teacher for about 3 years. So what Oxford specifically wants and look for in personal statements are super-curricular activities. Not extracurricular, not DOV, not football club, but super-curricular activities. And what this means is that you're going above and beyond to demonstrate that you are immersed in your subject, to show them that you are willing to do so many different things to learn more about your subject, and that's why you really want to study it at university. So if anything you remember from this video and how to prepare for your future Oxbridge application throughout year 12 is super-curricular. That is what they look for. So throughout year 12, like I said, I was on this Exceptional Scholars Program where many people were applying to so many brilliant things and getting brilliant opportunities. And I remember from about September to December, I had nothing. I was applying and applying and applying, and I had nothing. I was getting frustrated, I was getting disheartened, and I really tried to apply to so many things but was getting nothing. Started with a £10 investment. So guys, as well, again, if anything you take away from this video, it's invest in your education. You really have to invest, and that £10 was the best £10 I've ever spent in my life. I was googling what to do. I was getting very frustrated, and then somehow I found a page that would allow me to then do a Cambridge masterclass in English literature. And by investing this £10, it was my first opportunity to go to Cambridge. So this masterclass was held in February, and we all had to travel to Cambridge, and yeah, we did a masterclass just to do with English. So from then on, God blessed me, and I went on to do a plethora of things. Just go into detail about a few, but if you have questions about anything else, you can leave them down below. So as I've mentioned, I already did the Exceptional Scholars program. I also went on to do 2 FutureLearn courses, or 1. I can't remember the other one, but I definitely know that the one I used in my personal statement was one about William Wordsworth, about poetry, place and time. I went to a Queen Mary University masterclass whereby we had a lecture on Frankenstein, which I really enjoyed. I can link a website down below that constantly emails you and offers you different university taster courses. And also really interested in a YouTube channel called Button Poetry. So it's just a YouTube channel where different young poets recite their poetry. So I can link what inspired me to subscribe to that channel down below. And it's a very good thing to do in terms of conversation starters, or things to write in your personal statement, or conversations to be had at your interview. It can be very interesting about how you're using technology to expose you to poetry, and that's kind of why I did it. I also submitted some poems to the Young Poets Network, so to the Foyle's Young Poet competition, which is a worldwide poetry competition. I submitted loads of poems to that. So during year 12, I was also a mentor to someone that was studying GCSE English literature. I was also really keen on blogging, so I did blog, and again, it was important for me to demonstrate that I enjoy writing as well as reading. So I also went on to organise a Love Lit club for pupils in year 9 who don't necessarily enjoy English, which I absolutely loved because I really do hope I can be an English teacher one day. So it just gave me a taste of that life. I forgot to record this in my video, and I'm filming this on my laptop, so I'm sorry if it sounds bad, but I wanted to let you know that I got into a program called Oxford Pathways, which was for English literature. I applied for it online, and I'll speak more about it in my Oxbridge application video. And I also went on to do the Eton College University Summer School, the Sutton Trust Cambridge Summer School, and the Homerton College Cambridge Summer School. And lastly, but I think the most important, is that even if you do not get to do a plethora of things and, you know, the amount of things that you hope to do read. Reading is one of the best super-curricular activities that you can do, because at university you will be reading a lot, and it's just good for you to demonstrate that you can read things beyond your A-level syllabus. So one of my most important pieces of advice is if you can't do everything in the world, just read, and read as much as you can. I wish I was more adventurous with my reading, but in hindsight, but that means I can tell you guys now that that's one of the things I would put emphasis on. don't be discouraged and just keep applying and applying and applying. Even if you don't get things initially, like me, it will be frustrating, but keep applying. And I'm telling you that it's not necessary to have everything I listed over here to be able to get an offer from Oxbridge or any other higher level universities. You can make it by just doing a couple of things and reading. That's why I put emphasis on reading. And if you can't do any of that, read, and read outside of the box as well. And one important tip I want to give you, which I think it is important to point out because I didn't realize that it was important for me, because I've always wanted this position for a very long time. So I did run for head girl but didn't get it. But I remember some students from Oxford coming to speak to us in school, and they informed us that Oxbridge do not care about head boy and head girl. It really doesn't matter. They don't care if you've done DOB, they don't care if you're head boy or head girl. While those things are nice in demonstrating that you can do things and juggle your A-levels beside them, so please do keep them maybe in your reference. Specifically, Oxbridge don't care. In your personal statement, they don't care. If you are applying for other unis and you can weave them into your personal statements, do try, or just make sure that they're in your reference. But it is important to tell you that they are mainly focused on super-curricular activities. They are focused on you demonstrating that you really, really want to study this subject at university. So please do try and focus your time on super-curricular activities. I had done bronze DOV, but made the decision not to do silver DOV because it would impact my A-levels as well as it not being necessary. So before I wrapped up, I just want to go a little bit into my summer schools, because I reckon those will be the things that some of you guys will be interested in, and I can leave links down below to maybe the websites where I applied for the summer schools, for the Sutton Trust Summer School and the Homerton College Summer School. But in terms of the Eton College Summer School, the summer school itself actually costs £450. But there was a charity called Spark, which were funding or reducing the funding for people in my borough. So I live in a London borough called Hounslow, and they were allowing pupils to go to this summer school at a reduced or free rate. So that's how I got into the summer school, and I don't think anyone will ever have any idea how much that meant to me and that opportunity meant to me, because it exposed me to literature in a way that I have never been exposed to before, and to thinking in a way that I've never been exposed to before, because where I come from here and kind of my school didn't really do that. So it was such an amazing opportunity, and I'm forever grateful to that charity for helping me to do that. We did have to write many people did apply, and we did have to write 100-word statements to demonstrate and to tell them why we wanted to do the summer school. And yeah, it was one of the best opportunities I've ever been given in my life. So the summer school was 10 days from the 5th to the 15th of July. It was very intense. We did have to do a lot of work, but it did give us a taste of university life, which is something that I really appreciate. This summer school was also one of the reasons I chose my coursework text, The Taming of the Shrew. We had watched that at the Globe Theatre, which was my first time going to the Globe Theatre, and we had studied it intensely. So I thought I would go on to do it for my A-level coursework, which really helped so much. So I'm so grateful for that opportunity. So the Sutton Trust Cambridge Summer School, I applied for it online on Sutton Trust's website. So with the Sutton Trust Summer School, you can apply for different universities. I know they do Oxford, Cambridge, Bristol and other unis. So I will leave that down below if you're interested in applying in the future. It was, again, another opportunity to be in Cambridge, to see Cambridge. I stayed at St. John's College, which was just, yes, really encouraged me to kind of work hard to get in that environment. That's the kind of environment I wanted to be in, and it allowed me to meet pupils across the country who had the same aspirations that I did. So it was really nice to be able to just, you know, see how they feel about even the linear courses, and how they feel about the fact that we had to do entrance exams this year to get into Cambridge. So it was an amazing opportunity to just meet so many different people. We also got to do lectures on Macbeth and went to the Globe Theatre again to see Macbeth, which is something I then went on to incorporate in my personal statement and discussed in my interview. So again, these things really helped me and all linked to English literature and aided me in demonstrating my love for English literature and my commitment to it, because guys, I swear I was gone for most of that summer. I was gone. I was just not at home. I was on summer school. Lastly, I'm just going to speak about the Homerton College Summer School, which again I applied for online, so I'll leave the link below. That was just so amazing to have the opportunity to finally stay in the college that I would really hope to apply to in the future. And it was really nice to just soak up the atmosphere and to kind of see faces that I will be seeing once I go in October. So it was really nice to experience that. And again, we just did things in relation to English, which helped me to further my interest. So that's a quick rundown of why I think that year 12 isn't useless. I do also want to say that I know it's tough. During year 12, I was going through personal things. Some personal things had happened. So I know it's tough, that we are human, that life gets in the way, but I really hope that this encourages you to just keep going and to just go for what you want. That's the most important advice I could give you, is to go for what you want and to use that year wisely. I really do think it was the determining year, the determining factor in me being able to apply to Cambridge. Year 12 helped so much and really gave me that basis and foundation. And God blessed me with so many opportunities that I would never have pictured for myself, and allowed me to see English literature in a way that I'd never done before. So I just feel so blessed and thankful and grateful for the opportunities that have been given to me. And you know, appreciate your teachers and use them, because half of these things wouldn't have happened to me without my teachers. So do appreciate your teachers and reach out to them if you do want these exciting opportunities, and if you do want to perform well and you do need advice about what to pick, do speak to your teachers, because they are there to help you. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm going to go now. I'm going to wrap that up. So bye.